What's up, guys? This is the third installment of the three-part series of the history of the 801st. Last time we talked about the Peng v Red Gang in the golden age of the 801st. Now we get into the more depressing stuff. When we start at the first era of inactivity, from October 1st to December 31st. No one played during this time. I played. Like, in this, we'll get to the second era of inactivity too. I didn't even play during that one mostly. But the first era I played, there were very few people who did play. A lot of the people either left, not because of like what happened, but it was like a few months after they started to leave.
I stopped playing almost kind of because it happened, because I was like, it kind of put me in a mood of, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. So Happy Hour left shortly after that.
He left before that as well, though, because
Yeah,
they
well,
were kind of bullying him.
So we had like 3-person raids, if that. Now this is around the time I created the Pine Creek Collective, because there's a whole other history that I can go in with the James Black server and the James Black Revolution, which I mentioned before. I could go into that, which is just, but that's gonna be another video for another time. Cause that's gonna be that may be a few hours long, with the amount of stuff that happened in that server and the Pine Creek Collective server, which is what replaced it. And that's what happened around this time. My prediction was that around like now, we would be fully assimilated into the Pine Creek Collective server, because it was the server I created, which was just a gaming server for other games. So I thought Battlefront 2 would just join that server, because that would save its activity, because it would, at least in Discord. Good news, that never happened, because I wanted to delay it as much as possible, but I was preparing for it just in case. It was also like the continuation of the James Black server, which again, that's a whole other history, whole other video. Who was my man? Wampa was active still. Wolfie went inactive around this time too, but that was a whole different scenario why he went inactive. Then since Red Gang, because Red Gang was active, that's one thing I'll grant. They were active. So they also left.
You gotta hand it to Red Gang, because they really did what they wanted to do.
Yeah, when they wanted to recruit and help the server, they did.
And when they wanted to destroy us,
they did.
They did.
But then, I think what happened with the first stable era, no, it was the first stable era. It began January 1st to April 30th, again rough times. What happened during this era was Happy Hour came back, and for some reason that raid we got more than what we had in like those few months. I don't know what happened, but when he came back it just became active again. Whether it was his presence or it was just a coincidence, I don't know. We joked about that it was his presence.
Blessed Happy Hour.
And then it was stable. We were getting like 6 to 10 people at raids, which is what we're getting now. Which we're in the second stable era now. Hoping that will change in the next one after that. So, we were getting a good chunk of people. Recruitment, I was going overhaul because I had to replace everyone because everyone got kicked. So I had to replace that number. So we were up to like almost 300 people. Then we got then everyone got kicked. So then I had to rebuild from that. And I'm pretty sure I got most of the people that were active. So when we came back during this time, some other people started to play again. By this time, Dell, Knight, Gus, Peng, they all left. Well, not left the server, but they just didn't. They stopped playing. Lancer still played occasionally, but again, he was also busy, so it was hard for him to play. So it was basically just me, Wampa, and a few just random troopers for a good chunk of doing the inactivity period. Then first stable era came, and we got a bit more. Happy hour came back. Wolfie started to play a little bit again, but then went inactive again. First stable era. It was nothing much out. It was a stable era. It was just mostly people just playing. It was like kind of quiet. I mean, Happy Hour was back, so that was fun. But when he wasn't there, it was like kind of dead. Because most people didn't have mics except me. Now, during all this time, though, we were still beating clans. But we also had like, for some reason, like, after the Golden Age ended, our skill level went down. Because I think everyone who was part of us, like, left. So, we didn't really have too much. We had a few good skilled people. But there wasn't really much, like, really, really good skill level. Not like some of these people right now, who have 83 kills. But then, after the first stable era, though, more and more people started to come back. Well, now I want to say come back. I would say started to, like, we found new people. Well, Donkey Kong was, like, always a part of us for, like, the longest time. But this is where he stepped up. Well, not, he was recruited in the Golden Age of the 801st. But this is where he like, barely talked. It wasn't until, like, the first stable era where it was me and him a lot, and Wampa. So he decided to step up. He started recruiting and basically becoming... He became a commander relatively quickly. He became a captain really quickly because he got promoted. Because he was recruiting, he was joining... He started I promoted him because he said he would lead raids, which also helped. And then there was also Sandman Perez, who's still active. He was recruited before, but he also stepped up and started playing more because he was also at the raids. We also got people like Bizarre Folly or Thing and Vice, who were, like, good at the game. There was a guy named Spark who joined for like a month. They were pretty good too. Like, that's why it's a Silver Age. It wasn't as good as the previous summer or early summer, but it was still pretty good from what we had experienced the months prior. This is when Donkey Kong started to lead, like, raids on Sundays. I, like, took Saturdays, he took Sundays. That's why we had more raids. But again, those people started becoming inactive. Bizarre Folly became inactive. Vice completely left the game because he said he was tired of it, and how, like, you get into a lobby and all you face is, like, sweaty pros, which is true. We're up against the clan right now. Even when I'm recording a video, we can't escape them. So then came the second era of inactivity. This is when I had a lot of responsibility in my life, and I was getting a bit lazy and didn't want to do raids on Saturdays because I worked on weekends and had school and football on weekdays. And I worked like an 8-hour shift on weekends.
You're one of the few Star Wars Battlefront players who can play football.
Exactly. The people, like, so I, like, lost not, like, commitment to the server because I was still, like, recruiting when I could, but I couldn't join raids because I couldn't sit there and just play the game. I was exhausted. Like, I can recruit. That is my bread and butter. I can hyper recruit in, like, 20 minutes and then be done because PlayStation doesn't let you message, like, more than 30 some people because of a weird rule, a weird bot they have. So it was dead. Donkey Kong was basically the commander during this time. He was active-ish. He led raids. So I made a promise to the 801st because I don't want it to die. That I would revive the server because football and work ended right around the same time. Now this was from September 1st to November 17th. I was working on weekends. I had football and school during the day. I had no time to play Battlefront 2. And I also, recruiting took a toll. Like, I could recruit, but also, like, I didn't recruit as much as I did. Especially not as much as I do now. So I needed to find some help, and this is when I messaged some guys who I knew had the game, my personal friends, but not, like, I don't know. But they didn't really want to join, like, the group and play with random people, because who plays with random people? So they just said, we'll help recruit. So, and they're the business guru, or Oliver, but he's Guru and Trembly help me recruit. For, like, Trembly helps recruit earlier times, and Guru helps me recruit for later times. So we can try getting earlier raids too, because I know there's people in Europe in our server. So I messaged them, and I gave everyone a promise that we would be back on November 18th, which is Revival Day. Now, Revival Day was the day of the Mega Raid, which was this year, November 18th, 2022.
It was a pretty good mega raid.
We had 30 plus people, the highest we've ever had. Now, we had 30 plus people who I could have invited. However, you can only have 20 in a game. There was a second group that was created that some people who didn't get into the first group because they arrived late went to. But overall, there were 30 plus people that could have been in if I... It was disorganized. Next Mega Raid, I need to have more organization. And now we're in the second stable era. That jump-started things. We have decent 6 to 10 people at raids.
I started being active again.
And Peng started being active again. Dell started being active again. Then the next era will be the era of clan matches. I'm making funny business deals, and we are going to have an army. Because I'm on the prowl for recruitment, and instead of recruiting people in lobbies, I'm going to the big man. I'm gonna recruit people who are really good at the game. People who have max tank. People who have max BB-8. Nah, I'm not gonna recruit max BB-8s. At least I don't think they have max BB-8. But I'm going to start recruiting based off of skill rather than just anyone. Because we have enough people that raids are stable, and with my recruiting good skill, we can build back our arsenal, and hopefully we can have the second golden age after the clan age, or the clan match age. So yeah, this is the 3-part series of how the 801st was created, with point of views from me and Peng. So that's basically it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I needed someone else. Last time I did it, I was kind of bored. So we'll see you in the next one.